Gun counters are packed again. And cable news? They're losing their minds. Shelves that sat idle last year are now paper-thin. And no one in Washington who hates the Second Amendment can explain why. Is this just another panic wave? Or is something deeper? Pulling Americans back to the gun store. Could Trump's 2025 agenda be exactly what Second Amendment supporters have been waiting for? In this video, we break down what's really fueling this new buying spree, why Trump's proposed policies are pushing millions toward the checkout line, and why the same pundits shouting chaos are quietly terrified that they're witnessing a cultural shift they can't undo. The first wave of buyers? They hit the stores the moment the election dust settled. Gun shop owners I spoke to, from Phoenix to Pittsburgh, all said the same thing. Steady weekday traffic, then sharp spikes anytime a new tariff rumor or an ATF shakeup hits social media. But this isn't panic buying, it's strategic stocking. Most folks are picking up reliable carry pistols, cases of 9mm, and spare parts kits before prices creep any higher. Online retailers confirm it. Trigger groups, optics, and even humble Glock pins are setting personal one-day sales records. According to first-quarter data from AmmoSeek, published in March 2025, searches for 9mm, 5.56, and 22 LR surged over 30%. Meanwhile, NSSF reported a 13% increase in background checks for firearm sales, outperforming Q2 2024, and we're barely into spring. If you're watching this and you've noticed back orders stacking up at your favorite web shop, let us know in the comments. Are you seeing the same shortages in your area, or is your local shop still well-stocked? Drop a comment below and tell us what's moving fastest in your zip code. So, what's really driving this boom? Let's start with the biggest policy quake. Trump's proposal to move the ATF under the Department of the Treasury isn't just a bureaucratic shuffle. It's a direct hit on unchecked regulatory power. It forces the agency to operate under tighter oversight, where lawmakers and budget committees can track every move. That change alone cuts off the oxygen-feeding rulemaking by whim. The kind of chaos that gave us the pistol brace flip-flop, the solvent trap confusion, and the frame or receiver debacle. Gun owners now see a light at the end of the tunnel. The endless guessing game over what might become illegal next could finally end. And that shift in mindset? It's huge. People aren't just buying to hoard anymore. They're buying with confidence. They're choosing better gear, going for top-tier red dots instead of settling for iron sights, picking American-made bolt guns over cheap imports, and grabbing an extra AR lower, not out of fear, but because they can. Another major move? Trump's executive order, commanding the Justice Department to review and eliminate any firearm regulations that conflict with an originalist view of the Second Amendment. Mainstream media, like CNN and Giffords Law Center, called it reckless. But on the ground, the effects were immediate and measurable. Silencer wait times have dropped by several weeks. Pistol brace owners, once paralyzed by legal uncertainty, are now back at their workbenches, upgrading builds, swapping parts, moving forward. When regulatory frost melts, the marketplace thaws in minutes. And the comeback of weapons like the Franklin Armory RS7? That's no coincidence. Under Trump's 2025 push to roll back federal overreach, firearms buried in legal red tape are back on the shelf. The RS7, a short-barreled AR-style platform, dodges NFA restrictions thanks to its unique straight-cut rifled barrel. Back in 2019, the ATF tried to kill it by labeling it a short-barreled shotgun. Franklin Armory sued and won. Now, With the ATF under pressure, guns like the RS-7 are moving fast. No tax stamp, no waiting period, no reclassification nonsense. For around $1,999, you're getting a serious home defense tool, chambered in 5.56 or 300 blackout, with a 7.5-inch barrel, optional binary trigger, and all the close-quarters maneuverability of an SBR, without the federal leash. Gun owners who sat on the sidelines for years are now back at the counter, asking for the RS-7 by name. They're not just cheering the news, they're buying. Then there's concealed carry reciprocity, a sleeper issue that's turning into a sales rocket. Anti-gun think tanks, like Everytown and Brady, warn it'll lead to dangerous tourists packing heat in Times Square. But for everyday Americans, the change just feels like overdue fairness. A driver's license works in all 50 states. So why shouldn't a concealed carry permit? Gun owners in restrictive Northeast corridors are jumping early. They're hunting for micro-compacts, booking training slots, and ordering Kydex rigs before demand explodes. Manufacturers of subcompact 9mm pistols, Smith & Wesson, Springfield Armory, Sig Sauer, are running double shifts. Holster makers? They can't cut leather fast enough. Ammo sales? Through the roof. From Federal HST to Spear Gold Dot, we're seeing one box per customer signs return to counters nationwide. And here's the twist. National reciprocity hasn't even passed yet. But just the possibility of it is driving a buying surge critics didn't see coming. While the carry debate hogs the headlines, another underreported factor is quietly feeding the surge. Trump's team is floating a proposal to restore gun rights to nonviolent felons who've shown they've turned their lives around. Gun control advocates scream that criminals will be armed. But the proposal is narrowly focused on Americans punished for things like check fraud or paperwork violations 15 years ago. People who've paid taxes, raised families, held jobs, yet still can't legally protect their own homes. And now, we're seeing a surge in sales for pump shotguns, 4-inch revolvers, and affordable home defense carbines. These aren't Hollywood villain guns, they're working-class choices, from Americans who finally feel the Constitution includes them again. Even homebuilding is making a comeback. Biden's ghost gun rule is barely alive, on legal life support. But Trump's legal team is already drafting new guidance that would restore how unfinished receivers are treated, as unregulated chunks of metal or polymer, until someone actually machines them. That prospect alone? It lit a fire under the hobbyist market. Sales of 80% lowers, jigs, and drill presses have all spiked since February, even before any official announcement. So, is this just another temporary sales spike? Or are we witnessing a lasting shift in American gun culture? One thing's clear, Trump's 2025 vision is moving markets, restoring confidence, and bringing millions of silent gun owners off the sidelines. What we're seeing isn't panic, it's purpose. Let us know what's happening in your town. What's flying off shelves where you live? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. For more deep dive coverage from the Firearms Zone, stay sharp, stay ready, and as always, keep your powder dry.